Welcome to the Don't Call Me Midlife podcast.
Hey, Nicole.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm good. I'm cold in Boston. That's why I'm wearing a fleece.
It's actually almost 60 degrees here in Colorado. So,
What?
yes, I'm a little warm. Yes, for those
That
of you
is
that can
crazy.
see, look at the sunshine. Yeah.
I love that. Okay,
It's
well, it's
crazy.
not that here. I am so excited about this episode because I know you and I
you are.
I know you and I did not need to do any research on this topic. And so today I thought it would be fun. Instead of asking what's in your cup, I want to know what is on your plate, meaning what are you serving for dinner tonight?
Okay. Well, I know we chatted a little bit about, the topic beforehand, but I didn't tell you what was going to be on my dinner plate because I wanted to surprise you.
Okay.
We are having Friday night Mongolian beef from your cookbook.
From my cookbook?
Yes. Yes, we have a lot of things going on this evening, and I just wanted something like simple and healthy and delicious. And I have made it before, and I know my kids like it. And so they can just heat up some rice and serve themselves. And it's a fantastic dish. Thank you.
Oh,
You
good.
guys
I
have to
love
check
that.
out Alex's cookbook.
Yeah, that is one that people seem to really, really like to make. And the reason why I called it Friday Night Mongolian Beef is I will often make it on a Friday night if Alex and I are going out to dinner, so that it's like my version of takeout, right? And it is flank steak. I recently just had my cousin text me and said it's a crock pot recipe, right? But she made it in the Instapot in 15 minutes.
I mean, that's like my next thing to tackle, like the Instapot, because
it's scary.
I mean, this is what we're talking about, like meal planning, meal prepping, but like I am the person at 4:00 that's like, what am I going to have for dinner? And like knowing that I could make something like that in 15 minutes is, game changer. But I do think having a meal plan is far superior to any Instapot recipe. So let me circle back. What's on your plate tonight, Alex?
Tonight, I am actually making a crock pot recipe too. I probably use my crock pot anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, right? When I first started cooking with it, my husband, Alex, was like, oh, everything tastes the same in crock pot. And
I've heard that before. I don't think so.
I mean, but the thing is, you know why I think that is probably like old school would just make like a beef stew in the crock pot. There's all these fun new recipes. So I am using my crock pot. It's just really quick and easy. This recipe actually only takes 1.5 hours to cook, and it is a baked ziti.
Ooh, yum. I've actually never made pasta in a crock pot before. I've made meatballs, but I've never actually put the pasta inside.
That's why it's only 1.5 hours, because you can't put it all day with the pasta or it'll be mushy. Some of the recipes you add last minute and, you put it in there for 30 minutes. But I like having just a meal in one. John has hockey tonight and, it's just easy. Serve it with some veggies, and my kids love garlic bread. So that is what is on my plate. I'm excited. Who doesn't? I mean, garlic bread is good. I don't make it homemade because I think the frozen stuff is just good.
My kids don't like it.
You don't? They don't?
No. I love it. I love it because it's kind of like mushy in the middle. But my kids, they don't like the frozen one. I'm like, I don't know whose palate that you were born with, but it's definitely not mine or Jerry's. Like,
they'll like it at some point. Different taste buds. So, as you may have guessed it, today we are going to talk about meal planning and prepping in midlife. And I love this topic. It has definitely been a journey for myself and my family to get where I am today. So we're going to give some tips. We're going to talk about our challenges. And
I love how you say we are going to give tips, because this is your zone of genius. I've learned a lot from you. So any advice that I do spout out, it is something that I've learned from you.
All right. Well, you're sweet. You're sweet. This has been, like I said, I think the biggest thing is realizing if you're listening to this and you want a meal plan, you want a meal prep, it is a journey. It does take time. I didn't just wake up and do this. This has been, I want to say probably 15 years in the making since I had my first son. And I first went to a place called Dream Dinners and meal prepped. Did you ever go to one of those places, Nicole, where that was a freezer meal prep, where it had like bins of the food and you just like put a cup of chicken, a cup of veggies, so,
Yeah.
and then you labeled it and froze it. Did you do
Yes,
that?
I can't remember what it was called, but I actually never went there. You could
Uh-huh.
actually pay a little bit extra and have them make it for you.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. But I did do that a couple of times. I mean, it was very handy. And then I don't know, I just kind of stopped doing it. I just started like doing things on my own and following recipes and kind of creating my own little, routines along the way. But yeah, I want to say that's when I started about 15 years ago. I
Right,
mean,
because we
I'm
had
not
to feed
doing
someone else
spreadsheets.
besides us. You're not doing
Yeah.
spreadsheets. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, spreadsheets come 15 minutes later. You do not have to do a spreadsheet.
No, you
what?
really don't.
You do not. You do not. That is not my advice, to do a spreadsheet. What do you think, thinking of the evolution of how you feed your family and family dinners now that our kids are older? What's your biggest challenge now with our kids in like middle school and high school to get dinner on the table? What's
Oh
your biggest
God.
challenge? I know
To
I'm
get
throwing
it
you a
on the
little off
table?
guard.
Yeah.
Just
No.
to just in thinking, when you think, you say you're like 4 o'clock, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
What do you think is your biggest challenge from not meal planning, from not, doing a little meal prep right now?
My biggest challenge is everybody likes something different.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not prepared and I ask them like, "Oh, what do you want?" then it becomes like an issue. Everybody wants something different. But if I have a plan and I've already made it or I tell them what I'm making,
Mm-hmm.
nobody questions.
Yeah.
Is
Do
that
you?
what you
Yeah.
mean?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. No. Your
Yeah.
challenge is your challenge.
Yeah. No. But I mean, like, did I answer the question that you asked?
Yes,
Or did I
you did.
answer something else? Okay.
You answered the question beautifully. I hear that a lot, like a lot of people with little kids, a lot of
Uh-huh.
picky eaters, right? I
Yeah.
think one of the things I wish I had done earlier was probably, the advice that I say to people is make one meal and have your kids eat it, right?
Yeah. I
Because
mean, do you think picky kids are bred that way? Or are they born
yes,
that way? Or
yes, I
are
do.
they
I do
born or bred
because
that way?
they're, well, unless you have allergies, which is a big
Yeah.
thing. I think you're bred that way. I hear a lot of times I talk to younger moms and they say, "Well, my kids only eat chicken fingers or pasta."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear that a lot. So I think it's exposing your kids to new foods. And definitely as you get older, our kids have different
Mhm.
palates. But one of the ways that I solve that, Nicole, is a lot of times for kiddos, I love doing a sort of buffet, make your own for
Mhm.
kids,
Yeah,
and
that's
having different
helpful.
things. So that like there's at least one thing that everyone's going to eat. I also sometimes, in the cookbook, I say this with my chicken teriyaki casserole. Sometimes my kids don't love a lot of sauce. So sometimes I'll put the sauce on the side or only
Same.
roast certain
Mhm.
vegetables, or, you change it up because you know what your kids, but at least it's almost like a deconstructed meal now that I'm talking about it.
Yes. Yes. I notice you do make a lot of those
I
deconstructed
do.
meals. I do
I've,
too. Yeah. Like the Mediterranean bowls, like
mm-hmm.
I'll have rice and quinoa, and if they want to try it, it's kind of like taco night. But
Right.
I just try to do it with other things too. So there's options, and then I do that too. I always have their favorite, like all three of them like broccoli, so I'll always
Yep.
have broccoli, and then I'll always have like another vegetable. Like Jerry and I are adventurous eaters, and
Yes.
I'm finding that our dinners are very boring, and my 14-year-old is also finding dinners are just a little boring too because his palate is starting to expand. So
Mm-hmm.
he's
Mm-hmm.
actually starting to eat a little bit more like Jerry and I, which is so nice. And then the other two are coming in tow. But yeah, I feel like the deconstructed meals are definitely like
That's a way
three.
to hit everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I started doing also, and I think there's good advice if you have sort of, all different kinds of
Hmm.
eaters. A lot of people have vegetarian eaters now, or vegan eaters and meat
Hmm.
eaters within their whole family. Thinking about if like your kids like broccoli, and I did this recently. I was so sick of steamed broccoli. Like I had had enough steamed broccoli in my life because it's
Yes.
basically we have it like 3 times a week. So I roasted it. right? Which is like
Yeah.
not really outrageous. And my kids ate it. And I was like, okay, I can eat roasted broccoli too. So
Yeah.
thinking about that one thing that your kids eat, maybe they like carrots, try it roasted, try it different ways, put different seasonings on.
Hmm.
I think that, and especially that goes also with flavors, right? My kids love sort of a teriyaki base. So I will
Hmm.
try a ton of different recipes with that teriyaki base. So it's, thinking of the cuisine that your whole family likes and just playing it up a little different, I think is also one of the ways to sort of have fun with it and not have your meals be the same.
Yes. So you do a meal plan every week, right?
Correct. Yes.
When do you do it?
When do I do that?
Like, do you like you
How,
sit
how do I do
down
it?
and yeah, do you
I could do a
rotate
whole
your
podcast.
meals? I
I could do a
know.
whole podcast about just that, but I will not reveal all my secrets. Um, so
Okay.
that actually is my first tip. I've got three main tips that I did want to
Hmm.
say, and one of them is to make a plan. I will
Hmm.
see, and I will say this. A lot of people say, you don't need a plan. You can still eat healthy. I definitely 100% disagree with that. Now, your plan doesn't necessarily need to be an organized spreadsheet. Your plan could be written on a piece of paper. Your plan can be in your head. As long as you have a plan, it saves you
Hmm.
time, it saves you stress, and it can also save you money. So you're not buying groceries every single night. So, what I like to do is the consistent day where I do
Hmm.
meal plan, which is usually on a Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
And I keep all my recipes in sort of the similar places. I will keep a folder if I find a good recipe, like I have some recipes printed out. I keep a folder that says recipes to try, or
Okay.
I'll put them in Pinterest. So when it's time to meal plan, I'm not just like sitting, oh, wow, what are the recipes? What do I want to make? So I will do
Well,
it a
that's my
consistent,
thing.
what?
Like coming up with the recipes. Like sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I'm sick of, spaghetti and meatballs or whatever it is. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, let me just look in this one cookbook. And then I'm like, no, 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 no. And then then it kind of starts to feel overwhelming. So do you pull? Am I like, these are some things that you want to keep to yourself?
No, no,
Like,
no, no. I was
yeah,
going to
like
give
do
you,
you
this wasn't even,
rotate? Okay.
no, this wasn't even a tip of mine, but you're making me think of what can help someone like you
Yeah.
is, and I'm a huge fan. And I say this advice a lot on my Instagram is theme nights. Like theme nights
Okay.
are going to
Like Taco
save that
Tuesday?
for you. But
Is
not
Taco
only that,
Tuesday a theme
Nicole,
night?
you could
Yeah.
also you could do like, okay, I know I want chicken on Monday, seafood on
Hmm.
Tuesday, pasta on Wednesday, right? If you're new to meal planning,
Okay.
having a theme like that also helps
Gotcha.
you when you're looking for recipes, but also if you see, I will often buy meats on sale and buy
Hmm.
them in bulk. So if I know that I'm going to have chicken every Monday, I have chicken already in the freezer that I can use. So doing a theme night
Okay.
like that, or what I also love is how you could do a theme night by preparation of how you're going
Can
to
you
make
hear
your
the
food.
excitement coming through
Now
from
I'm like,
like
oh gosh, I could just talk about this all
Yeah.
day. You could prepare something. You could have a crock pot, like a slow cooker Sunday. You could have a sheet
Yeah.
pan night. Thinking of the ways. Um, so
Oh,
I
I
think
see.
that helps people. But I think my tip number two, which is one of the most important tips that I learned, and I think especially at any age, mom, that you are, is make your plan. Number one, for sure.
Mhm.
Number two is make your plan around your schedule. You can't just willy-nilly this, right? We're
Mhm.
driving kids. We have schedules. We have things that we need to do. So pull out your agenda, your schedule, or in our case now, I'm going to call our Google Calendar. Um, and it's not only what's going on that night, but how much time do you have to prep? How much time, you're looking at all the things. When are the people in your family going to actually eat it? Is it actually a meal that you need to have on the go? Like maybe it's a sandwich box for a night and that's what you're going to do. Um,
Mhm.
and that is completely okay. Or, I love doing like a breakfast for dinner box too. My kids love that because that's something that can be room temperature as well. So thinking about that,
That's true.
it's a lot healthier than eating out. I mean, definitely incorporate eating out into your meal plan,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
having something from home you're just going to enjoy and you're going to feel, I think, proud as a mom serving your family something healthy. So I think that's important. So work around your schedule, slow cooker. I think that's why I love the slow cooker because you can be gone
Mhm.
all day and you can put
Yeah.
that meal in and you're home and it's, everyone's excited about a hot meal.
Yeah. And when your house smells like a home cooked meal, there's like
Yeah.
nothing better, right? Like it's just so good and so comforting. And then you're like, okay, like I don't have to stand in the kitchen for 2 hours.
Right. Right.
You can just
I,
hop in
I
and do your
agree.
thing.
I think,
Yeah.
you can also, that for the slow cooker, you could put the ingredients in the night before and then I know you like to prepare yourself at night.
Yes.
Um, and you can then put the crock pot in the fridge and then just plop
Mhm.
it in the crock pot the next morning. Have you ever done that?
I haven't yet, but I'm gonna do it this weekend. I think
Wouldn't
maybe
that
you
be
should
so
send me a
easy?
recipe. Like
A good
yes.
slow cooker, a chili, something like that would be really, really good. Like almost a soup or something that you could
Mhm.
you could put in there. Almost anything you can put the night before and then just put the crock pot. That's a busy
That's a
mom sort of tip that you can do, right?
yes. I think that's a really good one if you have littles. Like if you're not
Mm-hmm.
driving around to sports at night, like
Right.
they go to bed around 7:30 and then you have like a little bit of time and yes.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
then you're going to bed early. When you got those littles, they're going to bed
Yes.
early. They're lucky.
I know, right? Those were some
We
good days.
Those were some, yeah. I mean, I do
Yeah.
remember the chicken finger, mac and cheese days. So I think it's just, I think if you're listening and you have littles, just be a
Mhm.
little adventurous. Maybe you
Yeah.
roast your broccoli this week, or you do something a little bit different. But it's definitely a process, and it takes time to figure out what works for you and your family. And then when you're
Mhm.
looking at your schedule and your meal planning, also thinking about the season that you're in, right? Maybe you have a theme night for the winter. You have your theme nights for the winter because your kids have different sports. Maybe you have a different work schedule. Your husband has a different schedule. The summer could
Mhm.
be a little bit more different where it's nice out where you are and you can have a grill night. My family and I, we do a grill night every Sunday. And someone asked me the
Mhm.
other day, it's snowing. Are you going to
Mhm.
grill? I'm like, well, I don't grill. My husband does.
Yeah.
And he
And
loves it.
yes, we are. Yeah.
And yes, we are. We have a
Yeah.
burger night
Mhm.
probably every single Sunday night. And that's the one theme night that I do that works for us. And I know that I'm going to do burgers and I'm going to put on some extra chicken that I can have for the week. So I know he's going to grill. So
Yeah.
that's a fun idea. And that's easy
Yes.
idea.
I do feel like meal planning is maybe the easier part of all this
Mhm.
because you
Mhm.
have 7 days. And let's just say 2 out of the 7 days you're gonna go like out on a date night and then another night you just figure in like, around like your family going out to eat or
Mhm.
whatever it is. So yeah. So then you've got like 5 meals. Okay.
Yep.
But I feel like the hard part is or maybe somebody wants to look in their pantry and see what they have. Like they can't always like, spend a whole lot every weekend and they're just trying to like maybe change up the way they do things. So looking in your pantry, looking in your freezer, see what you have. And then if somebody's not good with cooking,
Mhm.
that's going to be a challenge. And also, you know, thinking of the entire meal, not just like a main meal, but you've got to like think of your sides and like, do you have
Mhm.
everything? Do you have all your seasonings, your oils, your veggies? Like that, I think becomes the heaviness that overwhelm women.
Feel.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm
No, no,
talking
no,
about
no. I'm just
myself.
thinking. I'm just no, no, no. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about what you say because I am. I mean, I have. I love to cook, right? So
Yeah.
I could cook all day, and Alex will come in the kitchen. He's like, "You are in your happy place." I definitely am. So I am
Yeah.
thinking about it from your perspective, right? I've always loved to
Hmm.
cook. I had a catering business when I was 13, so I've always loved food
Yeah.
and loved to cooking. But what I like to do is, help people like that who may not like to cook, right?
Hmm.
And what I would say to someone like that is keep it simple. I think we think, like you were saying, your meals are boring. I bet you if you told us
Hmm.
your menu, it's probably not that boring, right? If I want to go to a gourmet meal, I'm going out to dinner. Okay. So I am not making
That's
gourmet
true.
meals
Yeah.
at home. I love curry, like you and I've talked about. I love Indian food. My kids won't eat that. And that's
Hmm.
okay. If I want to get that, I can do takeout or
Hmm.
go out to dinner. So I think simplifying almost the expectations of what dinner looks like for you and your family, right? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
And having some meals, part of your meal plan can be you've got 5 pantry staples. You know, like for me, I don't know what you always have in your house, but I always have frozen meatballs and pasta, right? I know
Same. Mm-hmm.
that, and like cut peppers and cucumbers, right? So if I'm in a bind,
No.
that's if I'm in a bind, and I definitely do pivot sometimes, things can go a little haywire in my house. That's what I will do. I always have, you know, a frozen chicken finger type of thing. I have one gluten-free for myself, and I have chicken patties. I could do a chicken sandwich. You can make a quick chicken parm. You know, having those types of things already
I'm so
in
hungry
your
right now.
you know, those are a couple things I always have. I also have, you know, breakfast for dinner, I think is always a good idea. You can add some good protein. You can have eggs, you can have bacon, you can have chicken sausage. You know, if all else fails, breakfast, everyone has breakfast foods.
This is
I
true.
think
Yes.
that's my kids love that. Make a big sheet pan pancake and put lots of fun toppings on it. You know, I always love also adding a little bit of fun to the food, right? I like doing the deconstructed, the boards, all of that type of thing. Making food fun, but also making it simple, right? And I also always have, in addition to some of the entrees, and I'm sure you do too, is some of the side dishes that are easy. I use microwavable rice. I'm not like making rice. We always have, like I said, like a pasta.
Trader Joe's for the win. Yeah.
Yes. I was just there the other day. I love it. You know, there are so many frozen good foods, like that Trader Joe's orange chicken. I always have that. Have you had that? It is so good.
I haven't, but I see it all the time. And I was just there and I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks good.
It's
but
good. I've had it.
Yeah.
I could eat the whole
Not to go for
box
the-
bowl myself. Yeah, Trader Joe's has good
Oh.
stuff. But you know what? Also, if you're someone that doesn't like to cook, explore that pantry at your grocery store, that freezer. You know, there's lots of good things. Not every meal has to be, you know, 100% healthy. It's about sometimes just about getting your family to the table, right? And we know,
Yes.
I think that's one of our challenges. When I asked you about the challenge, I thought you were going to say that is actually having the time to sit down and have your family dinner. That's just a challenge in itself, right? And there's sometimes nothing we can do about that.
Right. I mean, if sports weren't involved and they were just like out with friends, that would be different. But like if there's a reason for it, then I am not too hard on myself for that. Or if we can't all eat together, I at least make sure that if I'm available, able to sit with like my older kids and, you know, I may have already eaten, but at least I'll sit with them and talk with them. So
tell me, I know you talked about this on a previous episode, or it was with Coach Amber. Tell me a little bit about how you've evolved your family dinners, because I'm a big fan of family dinners and all the benefits. You know, like I said in the beginning, the first place I ever started learning about meal planning and prepping was a place called Dream Dinners. And what their premise was about all the benefits of family dinners. And it was like, you sit at the table and you talk about your dreams. I mean, you know, we're not doing that, but that sort of idea that there are so many benefits of just sitting down and for health reasons, for our relationship reasons. I recently read a statistic that only 30% of families sit down for 3 meals a week together, 3 dinners a week together.
Gosh, isn't that so sad? It seems low. Yeah.
It does seem low. Now, I don't know what were the actual, you know, premise, but tell me one of your goals of, was it last year with your family dinners and what you did?
Yeah. Well, I just, you know, my boys, I don't know if it's just their age, but they fight constantly and their personalities are also different. Like sometimes you just see kids that just naturally click. And mine, like the older two, have always been like oil and water, just very different in every way. And so the older they get, the more time they're spending in their room or they're spending with their friends. Or they'll come out of the room and they'll want one-on-one time with me or Jerry, but they're not really going into each other's rooms. It's almost like they just didn't know how to be friends. And so I'm like, oh my God, I need to like do something. And family dinners were the first thing that came to mind. And so, you know, I just, before, I guess, you know, like after COVID, Jerry had more time off. And so he was home more in the evenings. But before that, it was, you know, he was coming home later. So we would just have like I would serve my kids their dinner, and then I would eat with Jerry later because sometimes he wouldn't get home until like 8 o'clock. And so I just made it a point to either give them like a late school snack
Mm-hmm.
or, if Jerry's going to be coming home later, or we would all have dinner early and then Jerry came home and then I would make sure that like to call them up. And so that we would like all like sit together, even if the kids weren't eating, maybe just like put out like cucumbers or give them dessert or something at that time. So it was just something to kind of all bring us together. And it's just kind of sticking.
So you've done it. Like,
I've done
bravo
it.
to you.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Bravo
yeah.
to you. That's what I
Yeah.
want to say. Is because
And now the kids expect it.
But that's
Yeah.
not easy, Nicole, right? That is
No,
not
yeah,
easy.
no.
It's like any changes we want to make where you think something like a family dinner, it's something to be
Mhm.
expected. But in these lives that we live, it's super hard. But I
Yeah.
think
There was a
getting
lot
back
of
to
door
that,
dashing too. Like, don't
right,
think
which
I
is
was
fine.
cooking. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're all together. And so now we're all eating healthier. Not door dashing as much, but yeah.
Well, but the DoorDash is
That's
fine.
not
There
the
are
point.
times
Yeah.
for that. I've ordered,
Yeah.
what was it, Mr. Beast burger for my kids one
Yeah.
night. That was a definite pivot. They were excited. I
Yeah.
did not eat that. But, I think it goes back to, what your kids remember. And I think for me as a child, we did have a lot of dinners together when my dad was home.
Same.
He worked
Mhm.
hard hours. And those are some of my best memories of what family means to me, right? So having, it seems so little, but it
Yeah.
is so big, so big.
Yeah.
Our kids, for your kids, it's like, they all don't have to be best friends, but what they're going to remember is that
Mhm.
feeling of safety and comfort and
Yes.
security at that family dinner. And that's how I felt as a kid. And even if,
Yeah.
our kids, sometimes my family dinners are like 5 minutes because the kids eat so quick. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And it's just Alix and I sitting there. But even that 5 minutes is going to make a difference. So I think I love that story, and I love, it'd be interesting to ask our kids, what do they think about family dinners, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll ask them tonight.
Maybe I will
Well,
too.
yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to
Well,
report back.
early last year, my oldest had a friend over and I just made spaghetti and meatballs. And then,
Mhm.
but it's like also, I don't put it all together. It's all, that's
Mhm.
also deconstructed. And I
Yeah.
asked him, I was like, do you want like sauce on your pasta? Do you want meatballs? Do you want olive oil, butter? How do you like your pasta? And he's like, well, I've never had spaghetti and meatballs before. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's
What
like,
do
yeah,
they
he's
eat?
like, well, this is what like got me. And it really like lit a fire under me. And this happened like last January, February. And he's like, I just eat ramen a lot. He's like, my mom doesn't really cook. He's like, and I have to make my own dinners. And it made me so sad. And I was like, I know. I'm like, you can come over for dinner all the time. And so I was like, okay, like I don't want my kids to feel that. And it was, but there were many layers to that. And I'm not sure the mom's like, situation. And so I was just like, all right, well, um, my situation is I can do that and I can do that for my family and I can do that for my son's friends, and I want to be that like touchstone, and
Yeah.
it's like some of my favorite memories as a kid and I want that for them. So
That makes me like cry. That makes me,
I
that
know.
like gives me like
Isn't
very,
that
I wanna
sad? Yeah.
take that
Yeah.
kid in. I was talking, and it goes back to Nicole. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? Spaghetti and meatballs
Yeah.
are not complicated. I was talking once to a single mom. She works full time, has 2 kids. She doesn't have a lot of time, nor does she have a lot of money. And what she does is one of her favorite dinners to do with her kids. And I love this idea is they make different grilled cheeses, right? They make like just different, or it's different sandwich night. And they have like this whole theme night. And then they just have like chips and some cut up veggies, right? That's what their dinner is. But they're together enjoying it, and they'll often try to make it together. Grilled cheese sandwiches, everyone in your family can participate. So thinking about these meals where even if you have littles, teaching them the importance of, nourishing your body and being together, I think is important. So I love all these creative ideas. So
Yeah.
I
And
love
get your
that.
big kids in there. I mean,
Yeah.
older kids. I know that John helps you and
Yes.
Yeah, and he's 11. Mine likes to get the, like the Kevin's meals,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
the kind of pre-made. He loves to make that for the family. He's like, even at lunchtime when he like started making them on his own, he'd be like, "I'm making some. Do you want some?" And it's just like a sense
Yeah.
of like, pride and togetherness, and it's just it's good.
No, I think any meals.
And
I mean,
yeah,
my oldest doesn't really know how to cook. He knows how
yeah,
to microwave a pizza or a Pop Pocket.
yeah,
So that's good.
yeah.
My middle one, Walker, he will make eggs. He knows how to do it. But they
Mhm.
all love food, right? And they
Yeah.
all love, and they know, okay, well, if you have this, let's have a fruit or a vegetable, right? They'll usually opt for the
Mhm.
fruit.
Yeah.
So I think just teaching those little things and, yeah, I love that. I love that. Good.
Yes. But speaking of teaching,
Yes.
don't you teach? You teach
I teach.
you teach? Tell us what you teach. Tell us about
Okay, so
your
my
meal
challenge.
meal
Yeah,
prepping, your challenge. Yes.
yeah. What we are talking about is meal prepping. It's a word that I
Mhm.
love to talk about because I don't really love to talk about meal planning without
Yeah.
prepping. So it
Yeah.
goes hand in hand in my world and how I view food and how I view it for
Mhm.
busy moms. So I am hosting a free challenge starting February 19th. It's that week. It's a 5-day challenge where
Okay.
I am going to give you further tips and tricks and methods to how to put together your meal plan for your family. Now, this is not going to be a generic
Sounds
challenge where
amazing.
I'm just going to give you the recipes and here's how you do it, right? I want to help you give a plan for the plan. I'm a big proponent of empowering women, not just giving you the fish. I want to teach you how to fish, right? I
Yeah.
think that has many long-term benefits because your family dinners look different than mine, and what your family likes. So it's a 5-day challenge. There's going to be a challenge every day. And of course, prizes because I love prizes.
We love it.
I'm
We
going to
love
do
an
a
Alex prize.
I love giving away prizes, so you're going to want to do that. And I'm also, there's going to be a sort of theme for every day, which I won't tell you what that is, but there'll be a lesson sort of every day. And the goal is you
Mhm.
come out of this challenge with a meal plan, with your meal
Mhm.
plan, learning how to meal plan for yourself. So I'm super excited about it. And if you register early, I am actually giving away an e-copy of my cookbook
Get
because
out.
yeah,
That's
because I'm going to
amazing.
talk about the
Yeah.
recipes in there, and you need the cookbook to have the recipes because there's a lot of good recipes you could make in there. So it is February 19th. It is called Meal Prepping 101. Send us a message. We will give you the link to join, but I hope to see you as a free challenge. There's going to be lots of goodies, lots of benefits, not only for those 5 days, but also long term in terms of getting your family to the table and saving you time and stress.
Yeah. Are you
And
doing this on Instagram?
yes. You
Okay,
can
so
also
where
check
can
us.
people find you?
Uh,
Sorry.
Instagram at Everyday with Alix. And you can check me out there. I'm sure you'll see it on Nicole's page too. But I'm excited. This is the first time I've done a challenge like this, and it's going to be over email and text. So there's no sort of Facebook groups or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit more individual. So
Ooh,
I
I
am
love it.
excited
I'm
about
so
it. So join.
excited. Yes.
Yay! Yay! Hope to see
I
you
know
there.
I'm going to join and just
Yes.
automatically. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
So what is our unsolicited advice today? There's so much. I mean,
So
what do you
much.
think?
My unsolicited advice is sign up for Alex's challenge.
Okay, you took mine. That's my unsolicited advice too. Come to my challenge to learn more about meal planning and prepping. And we also have fun. I love to have fun in the kitchen. Food is fun, incorporating
Yes.
little fun elements. I'm going to definitely be all about that. So maybe we just have the both same unsolicited advice today. That's easy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say buy Alex's cookbook, but if you sign up for her challenge,
Yeah.
or
Maybe you
just
want the
buy
hard
it anyway
copy.
because you want the hard copy. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on,
yeah.
let's go support Alex and her stuff. I lost my train of thought.
culinary journey.
Yes. Yes.
Get
It's
confidence
amazing.
in
All
your
right.
kitchen. Get confidence. All right, I'll talk to you
Yes,
later.
yes.
Go eat that
Okay.
Mongolian beef.
It smells so delicious.
Yay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.